Wednesday edition of the Art Lewis Show, the 14th of May. Nice to have you with us. We'll have open phones later on during the 10 o'clock hour. At 11 o'clock, we'll learn about faith and family home health. But for the beginning of this hour, we're going to learn about an invention designed to help those who are sight impaired. And with us this morning to talk about it is Danny Leahy. Good morning, Danny.
Hey, Art. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for being here today. All right, so let's start out with an overview of what this device is so we know what we're talking about this hour.
Yeah, so basically it's a wearable device that gives sonar abilities to a visually impaired person so they can sense their environment.
By sonar, it's emitting a signal, and I assume it gets back a signal.
Yeah, so it uses both sound and infrared light to kind of verify what all it's seeing and hearing. So it sends out a signal, it sends out a sound, and it gets that sound back, and then it does a similar thing with the light waves.
So this is a wearable device.
Correct.
Both on the eyes and on the wrists and hands?
Just on the wrists and the hands or other parts of your body, like your shoulders, your ankles. It doesn't really interact with your eyes in any way.
Well, it doesn't interact with your eyes, but you don't have to wear a facial mask with it?
No.
Oh, okay,
that's not
so the sensors
wearing.
are not on your face.
Correct.
All right, that explains it. Because I saw a video of you walking up a staircase and you had this mask on. I assumed you did that to simulate the blindness.
That is correct.
So what brought it about? Why invent this?
Yeah, so I have a loved one who's very close to me who has a medical condition, and several times a year, she will just go blind for a couple weeks at a time.
Really?
Yeah. And
oh, that's got to be scary.
Yeah, very scary, and just the quality of life that she experiences really goes down. You can't really get about, navigate, enjoy life to the same extent. So I wanted to kind of restore some of the freedom that you lose.
I am fascinated by that. What's it called? Has it got a name?
It does have a name.
And you don't know it.
I don't know it, no.
I've never heard of that, though. But
I think
how
it's
long
called,
does it last? When the blindness comes on, how long does it last?
I think it's called a coronal dystrophy. And I've seen it regularly be about 2 weeks.
Woo. And how many times a year?
A couple.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so good friend decides he's going to do something about it.
Yeah.
So what's your background to be able to invent something like this?
I am a mechanical engineer. That's what I've been studying. I graduated just a couple days ago.
Oh, did you really? No kidding.
Yeah, I'm mechanical, so you wouldn't expect me to necessarily have the electrical aptitude, but it's a personal interest of mine, and I get some classes on it. So
you learn what you have to do it, right?
Yeah.
So this device, for the wearer, they're now wearing these sensors.
Yeah.
What happens? What's it like for them? How do they move around?
Yeah, so there's sensors that you wear on your wrists or wherever, and they measure where stuff is around you. And then I have an algorithm that I wrote that converts that distance information into a vibration. So the closer you are to an object, the more it vibrates. And it's going to be right at the location of the sensor, so it's really intuitive. So you can imagine if you're wearing something that's similar to a smartwatch, it's going to vibrate on your wrist to tell you, hey, you are 10 feet away from an object, you are 6 inches away from an object.
So with my little engineering mind at work, I have to ask, if I have sensors on my right and left wrists, and let us say I'm walking along and there are obstructions on the right and left side, but I'm 5 feet away from the one on the right side and I'm 12 feet away from the one on the left side, are the vibrations that I get different? Will I know that I'm closer on this side than the other side?
You will definitely know that. And you can tell very, very precisely just how far you are away from anything. So I can tell you, I'm exactly 16 inches away from this, just with like a little bit of practice.
And has it been tried out yet?
I have had over 100 people wear this device. So
So what's the next step? I mean, you have the device. You brought it here. It's in a blue bag. You have the idea. You develop prototypes, obviously.
Yeah.
What happens next?
So there's a couple really important things that need to happen. One is I need some low vision and blind individuals to test this out for me and give me feedback about how I can improve it. And then just kind of prove that it's useful to that population and tailor suit it to that population. And then I am currently pursuing seed investment funding so I can actually start a full business with this. I have a business minor, and then I have a whole board of really experienced CEOs who are acting as mentors and advisors as I develop this company. So currently I'm looking for seed funding so I can take this product to market.
I'm going to make a suggestion just for the fun of it. I have no idea if you could actually do it or not.
Okay.
The Michigan Institute for the Blind would be a heck of a place to have it tested.
That really would be. That's a great idea.
You know, just think of it. You've got all those youngsters there and others. It would seem to me to be a no-brainer almost.
Yeah, I'll have to reach out to them.
I would. I definitely would. And it may mean going down there and making a presentation, but I would have to believe they're always interested in things that can help. So how big are these things?
Very small. So the final product that we're hoping to give to the public and is very nearly done is the size of a wristwatch. The prototype I brought to you today is the size of a wristwatch, but it also has like an external power supply that I haven't integrated into it yet.
That's the next question. How do you power these things? Rechargeable every night, or what do you do?
Yeah, so
it's like a smartwatch. Every night I put it on the charger.
Exactly. And I've actually never run out of battery on it. I've tested it for maybe like 20 hours on a single charge, and like I charge it from time to time, but I've never even run out yet. So
but that's using the external power supply.
That's using the external power supply.
So would that be an option?
That could be an option at some point, but probably starting off we'll have a smaller built-in, so you'll get a full day's use out of it, but you'll probably want to charge it at least every 16 hours or something like that.
Wow. Is there anything else on the market like it?
There are some things that are in the same space, but nothing that provides you with information about where things are, right? So there's products that will read for you, and it'll convert words into something audible you can hear. There are devices that can even use like AI to say, hey, there's a car there, there's a tree, but it can't actually tell you how far away is that, where is it in proximity to me. So your next closest like one-to-one comparison is going to be a white guide cane or a guide dog.
So once again, my little engineering mind says, well, gee now, what if we combine those? What if we have your measuring device tell me that I'm 5 feet away from an object, and then AI converts that into a headphone sound that says that object is a tree, that object is a bench, that object is a staircase, whatever it is.
That's the end game. So I'm hoping to either partner with the company that's already distributing that product, or develop my own line that would be similar, that would perform that function.
All right. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back. We're talking to Danny Leahy, and he has invented a device for the blind to help them be able to have mobility, and we'll be back.
Summer is almost here.
Country called AT Guys. AT Guys out of Kalamazoo. Name is Jason Meadow, and this is what he does. He takes products. The government has actually been hired him before, for the Army, to test products for different things. And just more information for you, Art. The School for the Blind don't exist anymore.
Oh, really?
No, they combined originally with Flint, and it kind of went on its own.
Oh, ooh.
Yeah, it used to be in Lansing, and it combined with Flint School for the Deaf and Blind. There might be something in there, but per se, the actual School for the Blind is defunct.
Hey, Jim, why don't you do me a favor?
Sure.
Email me your son's contact information at artlewis, one word, ARTLEWIS, at
Okay.
wsgw.com.
Okay.
If you can do that, I'll print it out and I'll give it to Danny before he leaves. And Danny, what's your email? As long as we're
Yeah, you can email me at sitehaptics@gmail.com.
HAPTICS,
Correct.
sitehaptics@gmail.com.
Yeah, and that's site SIGHT. Just
Right, yeah.
not the SIT
Yeah,
version.
I got it. Well, Jim, thanks for the information.
Well, another quick thing for your information,
yeah.
For your caller. If he can get to, every year on the 4th of July week is all the big conventions for the blind with every major companies are there, everything, and I don't know, I could find out when it's going to be and where it's going to be this time, but you will have contacts with every person, every company pretty much that sells these type of products. We're talking like hundreds of vendors at once. And it's going to be on, usually the American Federation is on the same weekend as the NFB, of course, competition. But I'll let you know which is the where's that this year. But that's your thing, too. You need to get into something like that, which has everybody in one spot, and all the people know how to test this stuff.
Yeah. Jim, we appreciate the call. Appreciate the information.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Have
Thanks.
a great day.
Bye-bye. It's, it seems to me a device like this that you're creating, and you're still in, and we should tell everybody, you're still in the creating process. You haven't finalized it. You're still monkeying with it, so to speak.
Yeah.
These kinds of products, there's a demand. There's a demand.
Yeah, there is quite a demand. So you're right, still working on it. It's a working prototype, so it works, it's tested, but we have a lot of perfecting to do.
Okay, so let me take it a step further.
Yeah.
You create the device, you have the finalized device. Put it on my wrists or my shoulders, wherever I put it on, and it warns me of devices.
Of obstacles, yeah.
Obstacles. I should say obstacles, And if we could, attach it to AI and it could tell me what the obstacle is, even better. But for now, I get the vibrations, I get the warnings.
Yeah.
Could it be used in other areas where sight is impaired? Not for the blind, but for a sighted person, but who can't see because of the environment they're in, i.e., firefighters.
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly. So firefighters can use this in smoky environments. We can put it on bike helmets to help people be more aware of cars around them. We can actually integrate really similar technology into prosthetic limbs to give people a sense of touch in their prosthetic limb. And there's like virtual reality applications. So there's a lot of different use cases for this that are covered in our patent that we're hoping to pursue in the future.
It's interesting, virtual reality. I have recently obtained virtual reality goggles, all that stuff. And I don't know if you did it or not, but at the Midland Center for the Arts, they had the space exhibit called Infinite, where you put on VR and you were transported into the space station. And there were some haptic areas of it because as you floated around in the space station, that's what it felt like. I mean, It was weird. There would be these orbs show up, and you put your hand out as you get closer to the orb, and you get almost a vibration or a sound. And you put your hand on that orb, and all of a sudden you'd be transported to an area of the space station and watch the crew work. It was amazing. It's unbelievable. And that's how far technology's come. I mean, probably 20 years ago, we wouldn't be sitting here talking about this, would we?
No, that's very impressive, though. Yeah, I think if anybody out there has tried virtual reality at some point, you maybe punched a wall or a table. I've used one, and I've punched more tables than I can count. But if we can let you know that the table's there in your hand, we can help avoid some of that.
Yeah, they had an interesting way of doing that at the Midland Center because it's in obviously this whole thing is in a room, a sizable room, because there's a lot of people doing it. But there were walls, and as you got close to a wall, red lines appeared.
Mm-hmm.
So you knew to shy away from that area. Otherwise, you could walk through the walls of the space station. You could. I mean, it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Quite an achievement, and there are others out there like it. But I keep thinking of these things and how they relate to some of the other stuff that's out there today. So, what's your time frame? I mean, realistically, you got a product that is on its way. How long before you can actually say, "We'll take it to market"?
I'm hoping to take it to market in somewhere between 4 to 6 months.
Oh, you're on an accelerated run.
Yeah.
A lot of times these things take years.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm about a year and a half into the development process, and I'm working with a team of advisors. Some of them are experts in business. Some of them are experts in like blind care. Some of them are experts in mobility devices
Very
in the
smart.
medical industry.
Very smart surrounding yourself with these folks.
Yeah. So the timeline we've set out together is that 4 to 6 months. So we're hoping to make it happen really quick, but we're going to need a little bit of funding before we can do that.
So I'm curious, sitting in your CMU classroom studying mechanical engineering, you've been working on this for a year and a half, so it was long before you graduated. What did your professors think?
I had some really helpful professors, and some professors who thought it was pretty cool. So I had like engineering professors who were able to advise me on what sensors to use, or like some of the algorithm issues I had. And then I had other professors who have been really helpful in developing the business side. So really, really supportive. And I think that CMU is a great environment that fosters entrepreneurship.
So the young lady who suffers from this occasional blindness, has she tried them?
She has not tried them yet.
Oh,
Yeah, I made it for her. We'll see. I think she'll try it at some point, but she's a little bit hesitant, I suppose.
yeah, but when that blindness strikes,
Yeah. So since I got the finished prototype, she hasn't had any blindness incidents. Yeah. So probably she'll be interested in trying them next time.
all right, hang on. I'm going to take a break and we'll be back. We're talking to Danny Leahy, and it's Sight Haptics is his company, and we'll talk more about the device when we return.
Looking for signs and graphics of all
Back with you here on WSGW. We're talking to Danny Leahy. His company is called Sight Haptics. He has invented a group of devices that can be used by the blind to sort of feel their way around without seeing it. And I'm going to tell you something, Danny. This is just personal from me to you. I've met a lot of people over my lifetime. And sometimes their heads are screwed on right. Sometimes they're not. Your head is exactly where it should be. You are really quite an amazing individual.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
It really is. It's a pleasure to hear your story and what you're trying to do, not simply because this is a way of helping the sightless get around, and it's feel good and all that stuff. But it's all of the elements people don't think about. In order to bring this to the market, it's more than just the invention, isn't it? What have you learned about that?
Yeah, the invention was the shortest and the easiest step in the process, and that took a lot of work. Like I had an important event where I was showing this off, and I fried out every single circuit in it the night before at 5 p.m. So I stayed up until 3:15 in the morning, rebuilt the entire thing from scratch, which also included rewriting all of the code for it.
Oh, gee.
Because I had to swap what type of processor I was using, and then everything changed. So that was a tough process, but most of my time these days, I would say the majority of it is spent on the business end, going out, networking, talking to investors, right, creating business plans, financial projections, marketing plans. It's a big process.
Yeah, but it's an important part of the process.
Yeah, it is.
So let's go back to the invention itself, though. You first get the idea.
Mm-hmm.
You're an engineer. You put your mind to it. How long before you had what you would consider to be a working model?
That was like 3 months. So,
That's all. Well, that's not bad.
yeah, 3 months for my first prototype. It was a lot of work, but no, not bad, and that was a lot shorter than the rest of the process has been so far. And of course, it's iterative, right? We keep improving it. I'm still working on it. I'm almost done with my third version of the prototype. So,
How different is the third version from the first version?
the third version is all modular, right? So, the original one was a full suit that you would wear, and it had sensors all over it. The third version is just like that smartwatch, and little clip-ons. So there's no more wires or hassle. You just put a smartwatch on each wrist, put on an anklet, and then if you want one or two more sensors, like on your shoulder or your hip, you can just clip them in place, to no matter what kind of clothes you're wearing. So it's really different, and it's also really different in the way that it works on the inside under the hood.
How did you get from a suit to modularization?
That came from a couple things. One is just the need for customization. Everybody has different needs. You're all different people. You have different preferences. And then also, I found that I kept it was a lot of work to put the suit on, and every time I did, I would tear a wire out of the suit, and I said, okay, we need to get rid of wires completely, make everything wireless, make it talk together, do, little battery units at each sensor location. So, quite the process.
Yeah. And it's not done yet.
It's not done yet.
So how long would you guess before you have a product and you say, this is market ready?
We're really hoping to have it done in 4 to 6 months, where we're ready to go to launch. So right now, the phase that we're in is the iterative improvements with people trying it on, giving us feedback, making changes.
Yeah. Interesting. Hang on, we'll be back for one final segment with Danny Leahy from Sight Haptics. Let me talk about McDonald Ford in Freeland. You've probably noticed that it's getting harder and harder to find products made in America. Well, now, with the uncertainty of tariffs, it's become even more important. And McDonald Ford, in anticipation of tariffs, stocked their lot with tariff-free vehicles, with many more en route. And not only are they tariff-free, but now Ford is offering employee pricing for everyone, meaning you pay the same price as a Ford employee. Now, in addition, let's say you're a Chrysler import buyer. Why don't you consider a Ford? Because you'll receive the lowest price offered. Chevy truck buyers can now get into the Ford F-150 at employee pricing. So you see, now's the right time to visit McDonald Ford M47 in Freeland for the best selection and the lowest possible price. Don't let tariffs prevent you from getting the vehicle of your choice at a price you can afford. Visit McDonald Ford in Freeland today. And remember, tariff-free and employee pricing for everyone. And Ford has announced an extension of the employee pricing, good now through July 6th.
Steve, did you take...
And we're back with you, chatting with Danny Leahy, who is a mechanical engineer by training, who has now invented a wearable device for the blind to help them navigate the world without actually seeing the world. All brought about by having someone he's acquainted with be blind. And that's how those things usually start, isn't it? You see a need, and you go for it.
Yeah, my personal philosophy is, if you want to find something worth doing, find something that's a problem that's impossible to fix, and then fix it anyway.
Now that's an interesting philosophy. But in a way, I mean, it's interesting because you're not fixing blindness.
No.
You're assisting a blind person to get around, make their life a little easier.
Yeah. I'm not trying to do anything medical or change anything about who they are, the way they are, anything like that. I'm just giving some extraordinary abilities.
So let's talk about those abilities. Let's say a blind person decides they'd like to try this system, all right? From the time they're first acquainted with the system until the time they actually understand the vibrations and what they mean, how long a training session is that? How long a training period is that, or experimental period is that?
So you saw that video of me wearing it, walking
Going
up the stairs.
Yeah.
So I looked fairly confident doing that, right?
Yeah.
That was the first time I'd ever put it on 30 seconds earlier.
Really?
Yeah. It's very intuitive, very easy to use. Now, you get better with it over time. I've worn it a lot since then. So now I can tell, okay, that's 1 inch away, as opposed to just, it's somewhere right around here. And one kind of funny story is every single time that I put it on and blindfold myself for a demonstration, somebody in the crowd tries to prank me or just test the limits of the suit. So people, they roll chairs in front of me. That's what happened in the video. But it just happened yesterday. I met with some people, and somebody rolled a chair in front of me, and then like people will go and stand in front of me just to test it. And
No, but that's
the point. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that is the point.
It works. And if they couldn't do that, like what's the point? Yeah,
Is this not similar in some ways to autonomous automobiles
yeah.
and what they're trying to do?
Yeah, there's a lot of similarity in the way that they function. There's a lot of similarity in the purpose behind it, in a sense, because you're keeping people safe and helping them get around.
And this won't require a prescription or anything of that nature from a sighted doctor or anything, right?
So initially, right, we'll be selling direct to customer, and it's for anybody who just kind of wants that sonar option. So that's not necessarily a prescription type of thing. That's not meant to cure or treat any kind of medical condition. At some point, we'll pursue FDA approval so that you can get insurance and reimbursement and stuff, and that will be a directly prescribed thing for blind individuals. And at that point in time, you would want a prescription so that you can get reimbursed by your insurance company.
Well, in the same way, though, that virtual reality has come along, I could see people buying these as a game item and trying to figure out new games with their
Absolutely.
with their haptic device, you know.
Absolutely.
You would like that. You don't care. I mean, it's nice to be able to solve the problem for the blind, but selling is selling.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, I got
And you can
into
have
this.
different levels of quality, or you know.
Yeah. If I'm doing it as a hobbyist, I probably don't need 9 sensors. I'd probably be fine with just 3 to have fun.
Yeah.
So, different options for different people with different needs.
Well, good luck. If someone wants to contact you, how do they do that?
So I have, you can email me at sighthaptics@gmail. So SIGHTHAPTICS@gmail.com. I'm going to apologize because I don't have a phone option that currently
That's all right.
works. So
no, don't apologize.
For individuals who can't see, like it'd be more convenient for them to call. I'm working on that, but I've had some troubles getting a company line. So, just in the past couple days, I've been working on that. But at some point, I'll have that option available.
Well, I have a feeling the next time we talk, you're going to be funded and in production.
Thank you so much.
It's just a pleasure, and I wish you nothing but the greatest success.
Thank you so much, Art.
Get your buddies to start a GoFundMe page.
Yeah, we might be doing that. We'll see.
All right, Danny. We'll have to do this again. Fascinating. Thank you.
I agree. Thank you so much.
All right, we're going to take a pause here and then tell you what's ahead next hour. Well, coming up on the Art Lewis Show.
Oh, here's what.